Ninjago Season 2 is way crazier than Season 1. After a tremendous cliffhanger with Garmadon getting the elemental weapons, we're finally getting the Lloyd DLC because he hasn't been doing a whole lot besides creating issues for people better than him to solve. Can't even be mad at him. Look at him in the intro. This little guy is adorable. On top of that, the ninja are, ding ding ding, you guessed it, homeless. At the same time though, the ninja do their best to work homeless because they spend 99% of their time that way. Part of me likes the fact that they've got to start from square one again. They're weaponless and whipless. Same time though, they kind of started off from scratch in the first season too. How many more times are we going to see the ninja need to build themselves back up again after losing everything? Scales uses the lack of Pythor to try and rule the Serpentine until Garmadon does it again! Man might be the best character in the show. Every scene, every hood, every block stepped on, he finds the head honcho and immediately takes territory. You only see stuff like this in Power. Man's the henchman hoarder. Nobody even dares to challenge him because they know better than to speak out of turn to the King Von of Ninjago. Garmadon would have turned Scales to bones if he tried to act wild. On top of that, man just turned the ninja ship into the ops home base, turned it from Woodcrest to Martin Luther King Boulevard. If you know, you know. A couple of the Serpentines still riding with Scales, but Garmadon done acquired most of them peeled off. They start asking questions, which is very non-henchman like. They clearly don't know their role. They say, yo, why are we running from the ops? Let's spin. Garmadon's not feeling that because he's not trying to run the fade with his kid. Lackey number one takes it past fades and asks, we gonna smoke your son, right? What's wrong with you? I would have smoked him for insubordination. Garmadon's excuse is he needs to head to the Golden Peak so he can max out the XP on the elemental weapons, creating some major stakes for the season. Either Lloyd figures out how to use his elemental abilities before it's too late, or Garmadon go figure out how to use the elemental weapons to their maximum capacity and smoke everybody. One of my goats, Nia, aka Knee Money, clutches up for the team and instantly finds them a place to live. They're shown two locations. One of them's peasant territory, and the other is one of the greatest locations known to man. Issue is, they can't afford it. For some reason, this filthy real estate agent decides to charge them exorbitant prices, even though they're the ones who saved Ninjago. And on top of that, she gave the credit of the ninja's victory to Lord Garmadon. Team, if there's something you can take away from this video, do not help others who are going to be ungrateful and undeserving in the future, cause this is absurd. Whose weapons did Garmadon use to get the victory? Now the whole team gotta get jobs, struggling to make rent. My twins for real. But you can stop that by getting me 300 likes and 300 hypes on the Serpentine get back to plotting on how they're gonna win back their traitorous comrades as they've now got lower forces. Here's the solution, not sure why nobody thought of this. The Fangpire can turn people into snakes, so maybe do that. Scales can hypnotize people into doing what he says, so maybe do that. Y'all could have an army in a couple of hours max. Jay stumbles upon the Serpentine's new hideout while running these pizzas. You want to be Peter Parker so bad. Unfortunately, the information he uncovers is never going to leave the establishment. Such cohesive writing with all the ninjas' jobs connecting to the plot of the episode. That's how you structured. The Serpentine bound him and just left him somewhere. Could have bit him, turned him into a snake, hypnotized him, turned him into a minion, or they could have smoked him, sent him to the upper room. Tons of options here, and they decided to go with the most idiotic one. I'm starting to see why Scales' group left them. They're now planning to rob the bank where Cole works. Kai sees that there's clearly trouble going on. He dips, he's unemployed. Zane gets fired, Cole gets fired. These ninjas are terrible. I will say Cole's termination was the least fair one because he was just outside the bank. How was he supposed to know somebody would tunnel into the bank? That was an unknown. Not only that, he ran in immediately. He just so happened to be too late. That literally would have happened to anybody else, unless Bossman checked cams and saw Cuz was sleeping. The ninja catch up to the Serpentine, and that's when they reveal their plan was a two-parter, distracting them by stealing money from the bank. Whole time they're after Lloyd. Do you know how fantastic that is as a plan? I was dogging on Scales because he's an effing imbecile, but he kind of brought it back with this one. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of this failure. His family betrayed him and he's still riding for him. If it was me though, I'm not going this hard for people who suck. That's just a personal belief. Scales pulls up on Lloyd, who tries to do the race. Son gets locked in his own crib. I'm didn't even know that was possible. Meanwhile, Jay gets found and the train is coming right for him. My thing is, why doesn't Jay just hop to the side so he doesn't get absolutely smack dabbed, cream pied, blasted? Maybe he doesn't want to live on some Sensei Wu activity. The three ninja manage to save Jay, but in return they have to let the Serpentine go. We cut back to Lloyd, who saved just in time by Wu and Nia. Wu's like 4-0 with these. I gotta give him props when they're due. Somehow he was able to defeat Scales. I have to headcanon it and say it was Nia who did all the fighting, because Wu win-loss record is one of the worst I've ever seen. The ninja come back, thankfully Lloyd's safe, and they realize we don't need a fly house, we should live in peasant counties so we can focus on training. An unfortunate realization to come to. Garmadon makes it to the Golden Peaks, the home base of the Golden Weapons. He fuses them together into one of the flyest weapons I've ever seen, becoming stronger than ever. I'd argue this is a 10 out of 10 start to a season, built upon everything from last season and left room for more. Sensei Wu ends the episode with a Star Wars quote, and I've got a theory. Whole first season, Sensei Wu has made attempt after attempt of sending himself to the upper room, and with the lack of information he gives to the ninja, he's clearly trying to get them smoked as well, thinking that they'll be reincarnated as Star Wars characters. Walk with me now. Garmadon is clearly Anakin Skywalker. His son is Luke. Now take that. I don't know. The ninja decide again living in Peasant County isn't gonna cut it if they're trying to get efficient training done, so they decide to find some new territory to stomp in. Garmadon, although he has the mega weapons, got no clue how it works. Sidebar, that's genuinely one of the worst weapon names I've ever heard. Anime would have gave it a way harder name, even if you couldn't understand it. They couldn't have called it something like the Omnitrix. Second sidebar, they should have sold replicas of these. That would have been crazy bread. Garmadon mistakenly activates the mega weapon by wishing for Captain Soto's crew to be revived, as the weapon can only create. I tell you their backstory, but they're bums. You would imagine that Garmadon, being the most dangerous man in Ninjago, would be able to convince these ragtag group of imbeciles that he's not to be trifled with. Turns out, creating them in the first place has expended so much of his energy, he's treated like a young boy. The ninja arrived to the hood of my inspiration, my goat, my glorious king, the Brown Ninja. I loved him as a kid. He was so funny. Every show that wants to be great needs a character like this, an absolute fraud who thinks he's cold. Dragon Ball's got Hercule, Mob Psycho's got Reagan. Darren says, if you whoop on me, y'all can split this dojo with me. I was begging for it to be Kai or Cole. It's Kai who absolutely mauls him. Incredible. As the pirates invade Ninjago, Lloyd's unleashed the power of the Scythe of Quakes. Even after this display of greatness, the ninja still choose to abandon Lloyd to run the fade with the pirates. My goat Darren says, it's time for me to make a name for my— does not do that. Ninja, instead of going head to head with Soto's demons, put on some garments so they can sneak aboard the ship. Everybody's got brand new outfits except for Kai, yet they're maintaining flyness. Dareth's made to walk the plank, with the ninja waiting until he's pushed off, presumably bringing about the series finale to his life before swapping hands with these pirates. That's psychotic! They're really picking up some villainous tendencies from that demon Wu. However, that man Lloyd pulls off the save as Dareth takes the credit, cementing his status as my favorite character this season. Garmadon frees himself and his lackeys while Lloyd's putting in absolute pain, unlocking Spinjitzu. I audibly gasped, and I'm so proud. It gave me chills. Nia comes in, absolutely smokes the pirates. Jay immediately starts simping. This poor fool, this poor idiot, man. He doesn't even know what's about to happen to him. Garmadon takes his ship back and pulls a Captain Levi on Lloyd, tells him to give up on his dreams and die before skating off. I kinda wish they had held off on the two interacting until we got closer to the season finale, but this was still a really strong episode. Garmadon uses his mega weapon to create some shadow clones of the ninja to smoke the ninja. I'm not mad at this strat. I do feel like the One Serpent's idea of a giant poison ham sandwich would have worked wonders, but I'm not mad at this. Lloyd School contacts him on some, hey man, now that you're the green ninja, you're so cool, we're going to meet ride you and turn our lives around. Turns out to be a ploy. I don't care if these are some little kids, they catch your hands. You're not gonna disrespect me, drop heavy bags on me, and think you're going to get away with it. Even worse, a bunch of grown adult teachers got overtaken by some kids. I want want all of them fired, and they should be imprisoned. I personally would have just told the kids to smoke me. Can't deal with the shame of outsiders finding out little Timmy and Brad, or whatever their names are, have taken advantage of me, captured me, and forced me to do their bidding. Harry Potter and the crew try to convert Lloyd back into being a bad kid, saying, "We were your friends the whole time." No, you weren't. Man didn't mention y'all not one time after he got locked in with the ninja. He didn't even mention y'all when he was at this school. Y'all not homies, y'all not clicked up, y'all not gang. The shadow clones pull up on Wu, and I thought he was really about to turn my opinion of him around. He immediately figures out that Garmadon's clones are just that, clones, except he lost so fast with a level of speed only matched by y'all when you hit the like button and hype button so we can get this on the leaderboard. After frying Wu, Jay shows that he was truly modeled after arguably the best character in the show. Pulls up on Nia, rizzes her to smithereens, took her heart and her brand new whip. I knew it was an elite performance when Nia hit him with a cut. The shadow clones pull up on the ninja, going mano a mano, toe to toe, blow for blow. You would think that they'd have like a rock paper scissors thing where to defeat them they'd swap the matchup like Teen Titans did. Instead, Lloyd is able to talk no jutsu his classmates into realizing they're not cut like that. Instead of having a bunch of wannabe Pooh Shiesties and King Vons in the making, we've got some Jack Harlows and Logics. They help the ninja defeat themselves, all except for my inspiration Jay. All he had to hear was Clone Jay saying, "I bagged your girl," to gain the power to pack him up. Upon Garmadon finding out this information, he started talking crazy to the ninja, only for the connection to get cut because of Lloyd. He's starting to understand himself and his abilities more. I'm not going to lie to you, even though Jay's my goat, even though Kai's my goat, Lloyd seemingly the dark horse for who's going to be the best character this season. Dude doing handstands while carrying the ninja, which is a metaphor for what he does at the end of the season, but we're not there yet. Wrecking Ball goes through Dara's dojo, renovating the spot. They doing this because he's broke and needs 50 bands to not be homeless. Garmadon's plans to buy it so Lloyd can't train to reach his full potential, but based on what I've seen Lloyd do for training, he could really do all of that outside. Kinda confused as to how this is the end all be all. Nia, aka the most underrated and underutilized character in the show, finds the plot convenience that is the Ninja Ball Run, a super dangerous race where the winner wins 50 grand. If I'm 50 grand in the hole, I'm not competing, not entering no contest. I'm robbing the winner. I don't got time to loaf around. I gotta get this bread. Lloyd and the ninja enter separately alongside other Hall of Famers like Cole and Jay's parents, the mailman who I'm silently rooting for, those pirate losers, and the bad boys from Lloyd's school. The race starts and the ninja get hoed, but my thing is, how did nobody see this happen, first of all? And second, it's done by Lloyd's old classmates who just became good guys in the last episode. There were several villains you could have used for this unnecessary plot MacGuffin, and before somebody tries to cut some, they were just playing a harmless prank on the ninja. Bro, there's money on the line. I'm not playing with you. You're not my friend. You're not my pal. You're not my comrade. If I find out you did this to me, I'm taking your life. These kids shouldn't even have licenses. As we speed through the race, Scales gets broken out of prison. That's fine. How he gets broken out of prison is what I have a problem with. You're telling me a prison that's got cameras, security, and whatever have you missed the giant serpent bus that attached chains to the facility and broke off one of your walls? How? The cops show up immediately too, so it's not like they're lazing about either. I just thought about this too. Scales could have just hypnotized everyone in the facility until they chose to let him free. Darren, my glory is king, tells an elite sob story leading to the crowd cheering for the ninja. Made me want to flip something because y'all could just reach into your wallets and help him save his dojo. Garmadon hops into the race extremely late, which is something I would have done, as everybody's getting knocked out left, right, and center, mostly because they're terrible drivers. Uses the mega weapons to create an insurmountable object for the ninja, which ended up being surmountable. Episode concludes with the police trying to arrest Garmadon, who managed to escape due to Scales' help, allowing the ninja to regain their ship. Flummoxed me since everyone said he beat the Great Devourer. Why are you trying to arrest him now? This felt like a fillerific episode ripped from Johnny Test. It ain't moved me, especially because it feels like we're still dragging our feet getting to this battle. Add on to that, nothing from this episode holds much weight once we've reached the end of this season. You can tell the writing team's dang near out of ideas on how to meet their episode quota while maintaining peak entertainment value. Having Garmadon involved this much is sort of diminishing his grandiosity. He doesn't feel like a giant villain when they continuously put him in our faces and have him being the butt of some admittedly pretty solid jokes. He's already got the handicap that he can't smoke his son, making him kinda trash in terms of intimidation factor. It's breaking my heart. The ninjas spot Garmadon on the cameras and go handle it, leaving Lloyd on the sidelines, which makes zero sense. It'd be good training, an actual battle experience instead of frolicking with bums. I don't mean to call the ninja bums because those are my guys, but they don't have their elemental weapons anymore, which admittedly hasn't really seemed to be a problem the whole season, making the plot point kind of terrible. Tomato. Why did you mention the fact that they're not as strong as they used to be if that's not something they have to struggle with or deal with throughout the season? Also, Nia was right there. She definitely would have been helpful in this situation, yet she's sidelined. When the ninjas sneak into the museum, they see the Serpentine conversing. Scales letting the Serpentine know that Garmadon is Megumi levels of fraud because he got the strongest weapon in the verse and has failed every single time it's been used. I love this statement because it's really self-aware, but I hate this statement because it made me think he's not wrong. Garmadon has an unrivaled weapon so powerful when touched, it will render the enemy to ash, and somehow he's still garbage. Garmadon proceeds to give a brief history lesson on the Grundle, this giant beast he's about to revive from a long time ago that was super cold. First things first, the name Grundle sounds funny. I couldn't take something like that seriously. I would have cracked up, gotten us all got. Second thing second, the ninja hear Garmadon announce out loud his plans only for them to wait until he executes it before attempting to stop him. That's not even the worst part. They knock the mega weapon out of Garmadon's hand. You'd think that'd be a positive until I realized something. The amount of Serpentine there plus Garmadon himself should have been able to smoke the ninja right there. Garmadon was stronger than Kai in season 1 even without trying. Kai was genuinely grateful to have all his organs after one exchange. Add on to that, the Serpentine have on numerous occasions overwhelmed the ninja to the point they had to call in Garmadon and his allies to help them. For some reason, they retreated. They're stronger than the ninja. The ninja are nerfed. Go catch some bodies. They're just dragging out the season for no reason. I think I'm going to pop a blood vessel. They had a very strong 2 episodes and have been rating downwards ever since. I am shocked, appalled, and disgusted that this season was going to be the series finale because boy, oh boy, do they need to tighten the F up. The Serpentine attempt to take the golden sarcophagus. The ninja chase them down, so they decide to ditch it. Thing is, the ninja discover they've been turned into babies. They're effing adorable, but that's not my issue. Zane lied for no reason. He said that ninjroids don't dream. You were the one who had a wet dream about the green ninja last season. They truly brought it back towards the end. Incredible fiction, peak entertainment. Let me break down the science, crack the code for you. Due to the ninja being little bitty people, they call upon Lloyd to carry the show and the season once again. Lloyd concocts a Hall of Fame idea. He calls Nia for an assist because her and Wu are the kings of saves. At the same time, he goes to a sweaty greaser geeky comic book nerd, which every classic show needs. Cuz tells the ninja they're gonna need some light if they want to send the Grundle to the upper room. Lloyd enters a trivia contest to win some lightsabers, loses only for the Grundle to pop out on bad timing. The Grundle's design is super duper fire. Whoever designed it did their thing, deserves to get laid. The ninja tried duking it out, but they're getting handled. Meanwhile, Nia and Wu go to the Traveler's Tea chick, who's got a tea for everything. I'm 98% sure she's got a victory tea or something like that, where they just automatically win no matter what happens, they just haven't asked. She gives them an aging elixir that Nia and Wu bring in as the ninja are still getting mollywopped by the Grundle and the stakes start to get huge. They're like, yo, this will send into the Shadow Realm where you're going to age and you can't undo it. The ninja, due to their unparalleled levels of realness, are like, yo, we can't do that to Lloyd. And that's so valid because as a kid you say you can't wait to be grown, but you're always wrong. Adulthood Blood is overrated. Lloyd sacrifices his childhood to defeat the Grundle, aging up in the process, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it might have brought a tear to my eye. I can neither confirm nor deny. Just such a beautiful moment to see Lloyd, who used to be this immature kid running around awakening Serpentine so he could get some attention and run the fade with the ninja, to being the ninja's savior, literally growing up before our eyes. If that part hadn't got me emotional, the whole episode Lloyd's talking about this comic book that he wanted to read but wasn't able to because he had to train the whole time. The comic book clerk goes to give it to him and he's like, nah, I already know how it ends. Then we have Sensei Wu give a phenomenal monologue to close out the episode that made me want to cry again. I don't know if my manhood will be revoked if I cry to a Ninjago episode, but if it ends up happening, we just need to keep it between us. Can't start spreading out that information because I'm a lie. The Serpentine and Garmadon have rebuilt the city of Ouroboros and have been doing training in preparation for the final battle. That is sure to not underwhelm and ruin my day. The ninja pull up, Lloyd steps out and immediately uses an ice blast. Gonna be honest, it's getting so hard not to cry seeing Lloyd in action. I'm so proud of him and I don't know how else to express it. Easily the best part of the season so far because of Lloyd's unimaginable aura and the fact he's aged like 10 years in 24 hours. Garmadon understandably panics and leaves. He's alone. He's like, what if I just spawn camp the ninja? So Garmadon creates a portal to the past and it stayed open for far longer than I thought it would. That's not my gripe. The ninja all go into said portal except Lloyd, who's kind of trapped in the present. He's starting to lose his ability to feel. Very emo, very middle schooly of him. Nah, but for real, Wu and Nia just stay with him. Like, why? The writers always want to cut them out of big time events for no reason. Let them get some screen time too. Y'all are so selfish. I was gonna give a comedic retelling of the episode, how it was just the pilot, but you know, instead we've got some more comedic hijinks, character interaction, and some oh, that makes sense moments. This episode works beautifully with the pilot. It reminded me of Back to the Pilot from Family Guy, as well as the And Then There Were None, and Then There Were Ben episodes of Ben 10. I gotta go back and finish Omniverse. Unfortunately, I don't even have any jokes to tell. This was the best episode of Ninjago by so much, and I wanna cry again. I hated it. This episode was special, man. I'm not sure why, because I literally just saw the first season last month, so it's not like, oh my goodness, I'm so emotionally invested, but it takes me back to my childhood, man, where I'm coming home from school, forgetting to do homework and arguing over who the best character in the show is or who's the Green Ninja. It just makes me appreciate the beauty in this episode. And while I was watching, the only thing I could think of was, please be a two-parter. It's such a cathartic payoff for every viewer who watched since the beginning. You get to really appreciate more of the journey and not necessarily remember Garmadon and Lloyd still have to fight. Even though this technically could have been seen as filler for the 20 minutes that this episode runs, you just sat there captured by some really strong storytelling. I wasn't a critic. I don't consider myself to be such. I wasn't somebody trying to execute comedic genius or trying to get minutes on the video because I need that sweet ad revenue. First season of Ninjago, I thought, okay, this was cool or whatever. I like the series. After this episode, I can say I'm a fan of Ninjago. This was marvelous. Alright, now that that's over, how was Cole able to hold on to the mega weapon without disintegrating? Garmadon literally got the 4 arms so he'd be strong enough to wield all 4 elemental weapons. Cole is holding the byproduct of that and he's still alive! Even worse is they've made Garmadon look significantly weaker. Past and present Kai combining their abilities somehow competes with a dogged out version of Garmadon and are able to unite with the rest of the ninja to destroy the mega weapon. Giving him further thought, he should be exhausted from his mega weapon usage, so I'ma let it fly! Pythor, not Pythor, my fault, I'm racist. Scales cements his status as arguably my favorite villain in the show. Scales asks, yo, is we still gonna treat him like he matters? Cause at this point, there's more of us than there is of him. Garmadon's new plan is to go to the Dark Island so he can power up. Scales retorts with, that's stupid. That's not real. Why do they keep doing this every season? Somebody skeptical on the legitimacy of something that is rumored to be myth, like Kai didn't believe the Serpentine existed, Scales doesn't believe in the Dark Island. I bet my next paycheck the Dark Island is real. I also think that from now on, the Ninjago characters should just assume all rumors, legends, myths, or tall tales are completely true. Lloyd gives a little bit of backstory on his life, and it was so Naruto-esque in terms of how sad it was. I was waiting for a swing set to show up. His mama abandoned him, his dad's black, and all he knew was the school curriculum. Sensei Wu popped out on Kai, telling him, "You have the fire inside you. Come join me." Lloyd is a glorified orphan and you are nowhere to be found. I'm telling you, Wu is a garbage person. The ninja are called in for some fillerific task. Essentially, the Great Devourer's venom is seeping into the city's sewer system and is reviving a bunch of objects. Apparently nowhere else but here, but whatever. Conveniently enough, they run into Lloyd's mother, who goes to Lloyd trying to explain her absence in his life, and obviously Cuz isn't trying to hear it. Scales once again reminds the Serpentine, Garmadon's washed, and they could really backdoor him. Scales goes, "Yo, I see an island!" Dead island, pushes him into the water, knowing black people can't swim. Scales is once again back in charge. Not gonna lie, his fellow clan members are some simps. They just do whatever they're told from whoever they're told. A bunch of losers. Don't have no personality, no thought process, no brain capacity of their own. Just like Lloyd's mom, who explains her absence with an exposition dump consisting of a series of terrible excuses. They have letters in this universe. Stop lying. Just say you didn't like your kid like that. I'd have respected it. Somebody I'll never respect is Wu, who once again is waiting till the last moment to reveal information that is literally crucial. Sensei, did you know the Overlord existed? I hope that if I didn't say it, it wouldn't be real. Wu is dead, my least favorite character. I hope he gets smoked. I'm tired of seeing him. This was a terrible excuse to not bring it up. As more things get revived, the ninja come face to face with the henchman final boss, and he's indestructible. It's super duper cold and it's dang near unbeatable. To combat this, you know what the ninja decides to do? Send Kai out to get mollywopped. It was hilarious. The team all decide to jump in, all get cooked. Jay's like, "We're history," because they're in a museum. Pretty clever stuff. Made me laugh, made me smile. They obviously do the dash, get their cardio in, because dude's running a 4 flat and he's like 7 feet, 400 pounds, built like me. It's crazy. I would normally consider this to be a serious moment, but not when Jay gets involved. I love him so much. Dude is confident they're gonna lose this. Let's play rock, paper, clam. Loser has to stay here and die. As soon as he suggested it, they would have said rock, paper, and I'd have ran off. Lloyd comes up with a plan again, a true tactician at heart. There's a giant bottomless hole in the museum, convenient I know. He tricks the giant stone warrior, aka the stoner, into falling into it. Sensei Wu, who's clearly trying to bang his brother's wife, from what it seems, tells Shorty to come chill with some real ninjas. She's easy, so she's with it. Garmadon washes up on the Dark Island and starts conversing with the Overlord, who's like the final villain of the season and sounds like he needs a lozenge real bad. I don't like it. Once again, the Ninjago team introduced the final villain dang near halfway through the season after mentioning or alluding to them prior, ignoring the superior villain they showcased earlier. Garmadon isn't even being positioned to be the higher life form he is, because every episode he comes out and loses. It shows I don't have to take him seriously. Even the Serpentine was racking up consecutive W's. Not Garmadon though. His own subordinates looked at him as a goofy clown boy. Y'all can't tell me Garmadon is a threat or comparable to any of the great villains in fiction with relatively the same amount of screen time. He's a bum.
I say we bury them as they once buried us.
No, 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 no! I was just on Scale's side and then he said something stupid. This is the Devourer thing all over again. You don't learn. You don't learn. Everybody who buried you that long ago probably dead now. Go kill all old people or something. I'm tired. Wu, too emotional about his past, is chilling in the cup, only to surprise me when he takes off the hat, revealing a kufi underneath. Like, I didn't know he was one of us.
I should have chosen you.
I knew it! I fucking knew it! It was too obvious. He was trying to get in them cheeks, trying to rub up on her, caress her, bust inside. I'm tripping. Imagine hearing that however many years later. You were the one that got away. I loved you to pieces and you chose my brother? Let me get this right, because Garmadon is evil. You want me now. If he ends up getting with her, I'm gonna be smooth pissed off. Literally, whenever I try to give Wu props, he fails. You were supposed to stand firm on her decision. You ain't want me then, you don't get me now. You shouldn't have started holding hands with her, reminiscing about when times was better in your life, when you had hair and all this nonsense. So now you're gonna go from being Lloyd's uncle to what? His stepfather? That doesn't even make any sense. You're a weirdo. Men only want one thing and it's effing disgusting. The Serpentine start burrowing under Ninjago, which cuts off that terrible scene. Their style stopped by a super duper old door. Skip that. Garmadon's conversing with the Overlord. Skip that. The ninja are trying to save Ninjago. Now let's freeze frame. They try to save this woman and this dog. We've never even seen a dog before Ninjago until this point. Why is it here? That's not even what I'm mad at. The ninja do the Sensei Wu saving technique, except the execution was flawed. Lloyd's got all the powers of the elemental weapons in his body. Why didn't he just make like a rock slide that Shorty could have just climbed up instead of having to do this nonsense? Or maybe an ice slide, or maybe just burned her. Like, I don't know. The Serpentine stumble upon a series of the stoners similar to the one the ninja had just fought. The Great Devourer's venom starts coating all of them and they start bodying the Serpentine. I've never felt so bad for them, but I'm pretty sure Scales felt worse when he got trapped underground again. The stoners are absolutely running amok. It's visually fantastic. I think this is the hardest they've tried all season. Beyond impressive. Nia comes back with her limited screen time and uses the opportunity to hard carry the ninja once more. She's gotten a rescue point established so that the citizens of this bum city can be saved and embraced in her loving arms. Shout out to my goat! As everyone sprints to the extraction point, fighting off as many as they can, Dareth, in a blind panic, knocks Harlot's research over. Astonishingly, he doesn't notice that it's gone until they're all the way at the extraction point. I think I hate her. She's like, yeah, that thing's too important to leave behind. You're a clown. You're a joke. I'm actually crying. Wu tried to sacrifice himself again. That's never not gonna make me laugh, bro. That man really hates living. Sensei Wu here putting his life on the line for this heathen. And when they get backed into a corner, that man asks Harlot, does she still know spinjitzu? Shorty says, you never beat me. Wu is trash. That man says, I wasn't trying. Because he's a simp, he's a mark. And she says, neither was I. And she just used spinjitzu. What? I haven't even seen her throw a punch this whole episode. What element is that? Is that silver? She's spinning blocks and she's gonna be spinning Wu's dollars. He's about to get returned to sender and he says to this Jezebel, I'm glad we get to go together. I'm not. I don't want to die today. Like, what are you talking about? Thankfully, they're saved by the ninja, so they didn't have to go out like chumps. Zane and Wu are doing some reconnaissance and they discovered that the Dark Island exists and the stoners are finally gone. The bounty was critically damaged during the fight and rescue, so they're doomed if the stoners come back for smoke. To make sure they're strong enough for that scenario, Harlot's like, the scroll says if 4 people pour their hearts into another, Lloyd will become the Super Saiyan God. I said, yo, isn't that Dragon Ball? She said, my fool. But the premise is the same. Basically, for the ninja to figure out how to use their elemental powers without the help of Amos's, they're gonna have to venture to the Dark Island and visit the Temple of Light. As the ninja get ready to set sail and head over there, we get to see Cole and Jay's parents, who weren't shown the whole episode. They were rescuing people, which is terrible because I love these people so much. Also, rest in peace to Cole's voice actor, who also voices his dad. I could not tell. He's got a marvelous singing voice.
As the honorary brown ninja, we're entrusting you with protecting Ninjago.
Oh my goodness. Dareth has officially became the brown ninja. I always knew he had it in him, man. I'm gonna get emotional. I told myself I would cry. That's when they cut to Zane and I'm wondering why is he so sad, and then I realized he has no dad. Bars, nah, but for real. Wu was like, yo, I know you don't really got nobody you want to say goodbye to, but there's some people who want to say goodbye to you. And he's got an effing fan club. If anybody in the Ninjago cast deserves this, it's Zane. The ninja are sailing to the Dark Island when things start to get turbulent. While that's happening, Garmadon is wondering why they ain't spin blocks and send shots. The Overlord tells Cuz to stop tripping, shows him a bath of concentrated diddy oil, and is like, let me cook. Not only should you let me cook, we're going to cook up another super weapon. Like, why? We just had the mecha weapon, now we've got a super weapon. I bet you next we're going to see the ultra weapon, and then after that we're gonna see the super ultra mega. Ship is cooked. And they crash ashore to some lighthouse and Zane starts to trip out, kind of like the way he was with the Falcon. He gets to the door opens and it's his effing dad, and I assume so because I think I had googled something and I accidentally saw an image of him and it looked like he was still alive. And you know what's crazy? I still almost cried when he walked through the door. It almost got me. I had to fight off the tears. I'm a grown man. We're not gonna cry to Ninjago just yet. Before Zane's dad gets to give the lore dump of what happened and why he was assumed to be dead, Jay steals a pair of his drawers. Man's the boxer bandit. I get he's going through tough times. It sounds like he's peed himself himself numerous times throughout this episode, but stealing another grown man's drawers is just another level I hope to never stoop to. All jokes aside, this is an infinitely better season than season 1. I don't care what nobody has to say at all. Everything with Zane and his father is getting me. The character growth of Lloyd and the emotional exchanges that this season has been able to attain. The only thing I'll give season 1 is the world building. I feel like everything from season 2 world building wise has just been lobbed on, and it doesn't really seem like it works for me. Zane's dad's basically like, summer school trapped me here and had me make him all those effing vehicles we were seeing. All that merch, all those millions of dollars the Lego industry has made was because of this man right here. And he said, if you want to see your son again, you're going to have to do this for us. Summer school blows up. Obviously nobody's going to be able to take over. So it seemed like he was just cooked forever. Now he's helping fix this shit, and I'm trying not to shed tears. As the team finishes the ship up, the Leviathan, which was holding Commander Falcon hostage, grips up the ship and is stopping them from leaving. Zane pulls off a sacrifice maneuver, except his thing makes sense and he's goated. I'm never going to disrespect or slander him. I'm not treating him like, woo, there's levels to this. Anyways, he goes down there and he grabs some star teeth, which were attacking them earlier, and they've got crazy mouthwork. Once the Leviathan realizes that it's free, it lets the ninja free because he ain't no hater though. This was an incredible episode. They're bringing it back as we're getting closer and closer to the season finale. Next episode starts and I'm pissed off because why do I have to see Sensei Wu sleeping? Honesty time, I want to be the reason for the Sensei Wu hate agenda to start amongst the Ninjago community. The ninja trying to lay low, Wu, aka Captain Obvious, is like, we gotta find the Temple of Light. Even though they said that at the end of the last episode. The heifer mentions the instrument of peace. All the years of band lessons she missed, and now she's trying to talk about an instrument in any capacity. She is lying to you, Lloyd. She just wants you to pick up guitar. There's no instrument of peace. It's fictitious. Kill her! It'll give him the ability of the first Spinjitzu master. It sounds like a hack serum. They're not even letting Lloyd go get involved in finding these things when bro's the best character of the season. For y'all to keep him in captivity like some type of filthy, subhuman animal makes me mad because you just want the show to be worse for no reason. It'll set up the final battle early. Then turn into Queen Latifah and set it off! As the ninjas search for the Temple of Light, they make their way to Garmadon's camp, and that's when Zane spots his Falcon. He can't be Captain Falcon without it, so he decides to completely ignore the ninja's plan and go after it. That thing is a robot. It isn't alive. It doesn't have a soul. I'm not risking the mission for that. If Zane gets caught, he gets abandoned too. You made your own choice. Anyways, Wu is over here looking at Lloyd's mom, trying to get freaky. Like, bro, this isn't even the time for that. Lloyd, because he's a young adult now and he's not effing stupid, sees that these two are feeling each other. I hope he says something because this is inappropriate. Lloyd asks about his dad and she says he used to be such a great guy and she used to love him. So why are you trying to bang his siblings? That's cool to you. Cuz is tweaking a little bit, having a Kanye-like episode, so you're guessing this gives you room to sleep with his family members. I'm glad Wu's dad is dead because I think you would have tried to bang him next. As Wu goes to get some creek water to finish Zane's dad's merch, he gets caught like an amateur by some stoners. Not only that, he gets dog walked. This man's win-loss record is putrid. So not only does he have to have a harlot Jezebel save him, but he's also got to have the greatest character save him once more. My thing is, if they're indestructible, I feel like this fight shouldn't have been as easy for him as it was, but whatever. Zane gets caught, thoroughly ruining my day. I've always loved Zane, always supported him. This is the dumbest thing he's ever done. Not only was he willing to throw away the mission for a robot, no racial, that could be easily recreated, but he doesn't even use ninja skills to get the robot back. He just goes and grabs it in broad daylight. He has to get it only for him to use this Mongol strategy. Dude treats it like a joke, talking about some, looks like I'm in trouble. Kill him! He's gotta die for this. No ifs, ands, or buts. People need to start paying the ultimate price for doing stupid stuff on purpose. Zane doesn't ever sell like this, and he shows episode 10 when there's 3 more episodes left to start selling. Craziest part about this is when things is looking bad for the ninja, Zane figures out a way to rectify his mistakes. You see the difference between Sensei Wu and Zane? The ninja get away, and during Zane's idiocy, they uncovered where the Temple of Light is.
Perhaps
Perhaps it can be of use?
I don't want to overlook this. Nia just kissed Jay on the mouth. That's huge. The ninja now go ahead toward the Temple of Light in their new merch machine. You know what I'm saying? Gotta sell them toys. Lego's got a quota to me. Speaking of quotas to me, hit the like button. I need 300 likes and 300 hypes to get the next Ninjago video. I'm not playing with y'all. The ninja make it to the Temple of Light. Lloyd assumes the Super Saiyan God ritual. Everyone comes out with some crispy new fits. And to top it all off, they've got some brand new weapons that are super hard. Aside from that, they're all swords, which makes no sense since only Kai's area of expertise is a sword. In the beginning of the season, they downgraded to the peasant versions of their original weapons. Why do they all have swords now? It makes Kai seem less special. Also, the old weapons look better than this. I would have low-key preferred they didn't even get weapons at all, and they just started throwing hands, throwing punches and kicks till somebody dies. The ninja used them to cook the stoners, man, and that's when Cole shows off the fact that his dad's teachings never left him. This is my Cole Jackson. He saw the ops and told him to beat it because he's the one. Lloyd summons a flying golden dragon from his hands, alerting the whole island that they've reached the final form. If I'm Garmadon, this is the season finale right here. I'm calling it because there's no shot on earth I'm winning this. I should have destroyed this temple. Why did the Overlord not tell him to do that? This heifer right here takes the ninja's win as an opportunity to cozy up to Wu. I'm so serious. I need her to get whacked. I need her to get clipped. It's going to make the series so much better for me. I'm going to cheer. I'm going to celebrate. Garmadon states the obvious, telling the Overlord, yo, your crew is lightweight garbage. And he's like, oh no, they're not. We're actually getting stronger. Once this clock hits 0, everything's gonna change. You're gonna have the greatest weapon in all of existence and you'll recreate. I don't trust this dude. Giant orb thing, giant effect guy. He looks like the fart from Rick and Morty. I'm sure he's got a betrayal sitting in the tuck for Garmadon. If not, I'd be genuinely surprised. This exchange between Garmadon and Overlord continues, and it gets really good because you can see Garmadon's apprehension towards fighting his son. He cool with smoking the ninja. He don't really know him like that, to be fair. I wonder how that'll develop when the final battle actually commences. The ninja are shirtless, ripped up, and I gotta ask because I know everybody else is. Why do they look like me for real? Wu makes the point that the ninja are an elite fighting force and each piece is special, but literally my point again, they're all using dang near the same weapon, just reskinned. Also, Lloyd's already got the powers of all of them, so they're kind of worthless. Since Lloyd's not trying to swap hands with his OG, his mother senses the weakness in his soul and suggests taking his helmet off his head, which might stop the clock. Lloyd's got to get held back again so everyone can attempt to provide value to the cause. Why do y'all power him up, age him up, and make him the best character in the show, then continuously shelve him? Then Nia's not doing anything all season besides tech work. I don't like that because Nia's a dog. The ninja's plan is to have this Jezebel manipulate her mentally ill husband so they can get the helmet. The ninja try to blend in, but because of the story of Babylon, they've got no clue what the stoners are talking about. Low-key surprised Zane doesn't have a language reader function in him.
TikTok.
Zane predicted TikTok? Stoners bring Harley Quinn to Garmadon, and bro gets the same romantic feelings that any person who's ever dealt with a promiscuous heifer heathen feels. Sometimes you can't see past the evil because of the outer beauty. I start to feel my blood boil because this scene between these two former lovers is fantastic. The emotions that Garmadon is wrestling with, the way that this harlot's trying to convince him not to do all of this, all of it uniting. Garmadon's voice actor once again putting in overtime plus double shifts. Well, that's really what overtime is. Shut up! Even though this girl belongs to everyone and she's trying to sleep with Nexmon, he still wants her by his side. He a monster, but he ain't evil. Majin Vegeta type stuff right here. Cole gets disrespected by one of the stoners, immediately drops the act and drops him too. It made me laugh, not gonna hold you. Now they're balls deep in enemy territory, running fades. Kai wants to grab that harlot and leave, but all I'm saying is we should leave her here and hope for the worst. Harlot does the comedic horror movie creep up, like if you don't run over and grab it, you think he's beating you in a foot race? You better find out. Man got a weighted vest on. Gus want to be 50 Cent from 2000 so bad. Stop playing. She grabs it and does the dash without a second thought so she can bring it to his brother and then bang his brother. Y'all can't trust these women in this show except for Nia. Shout out to Nia. Nia would never. I I hope. She comes in and makes the save because Garmadon is pissed and the ninja are cruising for a bruise. Time's winding down and I'm hoping the ninja fail because I need some more punches to get thrown. I'm sorry, I'm ignorant. On top of that, Garmadon just looks kind of funny when he doesn't have the helmet on. Garmadon corners the ninja. It looks like it's curtains for him. He's about to bring about the series finale extremely early until Lloyd comes in and makes the save, which was surprising to me because this is usually a Sensei Wu trademark. He shows how outrageously strong he is compared to the rest of the ninja. With one blast, took out a robot monster that was stronger than all of the ninja. The whole team is screaming, yo, beat up your dad right now, smoke your dad right now, murk your dad right now. What is wrong with these people? Why don't you do it? They leave to see if they can get the helmet returned in time. Upon arriving at the location of the clock, they start conversing. Mia's like, oh my goodness, this thing is so cool. Like, Mia, shut up, you my dog, but I'm not trying to hear that right now. Nobody can find where it's supposed to be placed at for everything to stop, which is a problem. They're throwing it left, right, and center only for one of the stoners to catch it. Cole chases the stoner down while everybody else is just playing in spectator mode. Why? Do something. There's like 6 of you. They have 10 seconds left and Harlot sells at the end. I'm not gonna blame her by herself. No, no, no. This is a team fault. Y'all are genuinely the worst team I've ever seen in my entire life. Why did all of y'all not go and run after it? That makes 0 sense. The stoners were just standing there like idiots and so were y'all. Y'all did not want to win this. I'm so glad they acknowledged the fact they did it too late because I pulled out my stopwatch on some elite hater activity and I counted the seconds myself. They was 10 seconds late 10 seconds ago. As soon as Shorty started to run, they were like 8 seconds down. It was bad work all around. They're embarrassments to the cause. Lloyd needs to smoke the whole team because they're all worthless. They're all trash. They're all garbage. Now you gotta fight your dad, presumably to the death, and I kinda hope y'all lose because this is embarrassing. This scene almost made me drop the show. I'm so mad. Rubble starts to crumble down. Everybody falls except for only Neo. Why? She's got the worst luck stat I've ever seen. Nothing even causes the rocks to crumble besides maybe the weight of them all. That's dumb, alright? My thing is, y'all were able to do spin jitsu and jump up off of a bunch of planks earlier to save yourselves from certain harm, and when there's some rocks there, y'all just don't do that. Or Lloyd's got all the elemental powers and Cole got his elemental weapon, a rock. Or Zane, Ice Ladder. Don't y'all pretty much have your true potential abilities as well? Can't y'all just fly again? I'm genuinely puzzled and baffled that they continue to rehash plot points from an earlier season when they were doing so much better this time around. This feels like unneeded, unwarranted nonsense. Garmadon's revealed to have gained the Garmatron from the Overlord. The animation sequence for its appearance is real tough. They'll think it's terrible. Stop making everything a mech. I get it, you want to sell some merch. Can we get like twin Dracos or something like that instead? He just had a mech last episode and it failed. The F is the difference. This thing better be able to disintegrate any op that comes in his path or something. The stoners bring forth Nia and Garmadon goes to use the concentrated Diddy wheel arm. Still think it's really dumb how we got here, but I'm eager to see where it goes. I feel it'd have been cooler if it happened to Wu instead. It'd create a moment where Garmadon could be like, you're just like me now. You betrayed me all those years ago, allowing the Devourer to bite me. I'm going to do the same to you. It's poetic instead of picking somebody who already got kidnapped in the pilot. The team have a quick moment together before suiting up for the final battle. Dumb sequence. Initially I thought it was cool, but then I thought to myself, everybody's already suited up. There was literally 0 reason for them to do this besides aura farming. The ninja pull up to where they thought Garmadon's base of operations is and everybody's gone. As the team looks over the area, they discover the tracks that the Garmatron has left, but forget that. The animation team just locked the F out because why is Lloyd in his other outfit? Is this a new element he's mastered? Then dude swaps back and nobody says nothing. That's funny. The Garmatron is heading out to Ninjago and is going to turn everything evil. Probably for the best because his wife is already evil and his brother's kind of a snake too. Him doing Doing so will offset the power balance, allowing the Overlord to cross into our plane. The ninja attempt to catch up, and dude, this feels so finale-y. As they run, they're just going through old memories. It's so heartwarming. Until they say something that captures me, struck me, if you will. They were like, yo, remember when Cole got hypnotized? We should have mollywopped him. And I screamed out, facts! They should have sent him to the upper room. I said that in the last video. Go and watch it if you haven't. It took him a season to realize I'm an effing genius. Now, if only we can get Sensei Wooded, I'll feel like a supreme being. They're cut off by Nia, and oh my goodness, they really turned her grayscale. I mean, evil. Why Nia? She hasn't done anything all season. Then they turn her into this? What's with the hatred? The ninja immediately pulled the I don't want to hurt her card. The same move that they did on Cole when they just said they should have beat him up. So what do you think I'm going to tell them to do right now? If you don't beat her up and stop playing equal rights, equal lefts, equal uppercuts, I'm pulling the elemental weapons out and I'm getting Nia the F out of here. As long as she's still breathing, we're cool. A little physical therapy ain't never hurt nobody. Well, I'm lying, but hey, she'll still be here. Y'all out here letting Lloyd go run the ones against the most dangerous man in the series because y'all want to set the difficulty to Weenie Hut Jr. for Nia. The Garmadon trio catch up to Garmadon, and for some reason, instead of immediately trying to enact violence, they try using the talk no jutsu. This is not Naruto. Stop being stupid. But I'm like, you know what? Maybe this will work. They start talking to him. Garmadon then explains why them talking to him is effing stupid, then walks to press a button that is going to fire a cannon, turning everybody evil. Instead of anyone running up and stopping him, they just let him. Dude, I wholeheartedly believe the Ninjago cast are the most brain-dead, drooling mongrel idiots I've ever had the displeasure of watching. Sometimes I can look past it. Other times, what I'm seeing on my screen is genuinely baffling and damaging to my retinas. What makes even less sense is that initial button press was just warming up the Garmatron. The Overlord's like, I couldn't have told you we needed to warm it up first. You were monologuing. Man, tell him to shut up then. What are you talking about? You're supposed to be evil. You've got manners. The ninja keep getting unnecessary second chances and mulligans in a bunch of situations, yet I haven't seen not one of them except our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So I'm not understanding where this unneeded and unwarranted favor is stemming from. I need y'all to believe me when I say I like the ninja. I really do. But when I say kill all of them now, the button needing more time to warm up gave the Garmadon trio extra time, and somehow they still couldn't figure it out quick enough before the cannon got fired and the citizens of Ninjago were made into Garmadon's image. If that's not embarrassing, I don't know what is. But what makes me even madder is the fact that this was genuinely just padding runtime, because there was no reason for you to add that in if they were going to still fail. These bums went 0-2 for the love of the sport. I need to hope that season 3 and beyond do not do this at such a high volume because it's unnecessary. We cut back to the Nia fight, and the ninja are like, we've been losing and everything's going terrible. You know what we should do now? Use our elemental weapons like we should have in the beginning! Lloyd just got bodied, cooked, embarrassed, and humiliated because y'all didn't do what y'all were supposed to do sooner. These characters are so dumb. The show will be like, let's come through with good concepts, premises, and terrible execution in terms of what's effing rational. We need more black characters in Ninjago because I feel like they're not going to have this level of stupidity. This is like some white people tripping on nothing when the killer is coming type situation. After everything's been taken over, the Overlord starts to cross over, and he's like, it's all going according to my plan. Garmadon, you fool, I have tricked you. It looks like I was right. Very predictable, very terrible. Why didn't nobody tell Garmadon this was a possibility as a method of manipulating him into helping y'all? Does this mean Garmadon's not going to be the main villain ever? Do I just have to keep being blue-balled into thinking he's going to be something great only for him to be a B-tier villain and an effing loser consumed by the Overlord and create an abhorrent design in return? I'm genuinely surprised this Ninjago, if nothing else, is outstanding when it comes to designs for characters. I need him to get a Dragon Ball Z-esque transformation so I don't have to keep looking at this ugly thing. He looks like one of the Hug Wolves from Adventure Time. It's damaging my corneas. Also, what are they going to do with the serpent? Final battle begins to ensue. Right when I was about to start hating, Lloyd starts beating on him. Same time, he's trying to convince his father on the inside to fight the metamorphosis. I'm thinking thinking he might actually pull off the win. I was wrong to have faith in the man. The only reason Lloyd even survived is because of Zane's dad. The Overlord and Stoners head over to Ninjago, trapping the ninja on the Dark Island with seemingly no hope of escaping. I'm not gonna lie, this does seem sort of familiar from what I remember as a kid. I thought they got stranded in space, but maybe that was like a different thing. It's real hard to be a fan of the ninja when they keep losing like this and they keep not fighting as a team. Like, they'll fight as a team for a little bit and then they'll for some reason just allow it to be a 1v1. It's like, bro, jump him! This isn't Dragon Ball! The final episode kicks off with a series of establishing shots with the city of Ninjago being completely destitute. Atmospherically, this is the darkest and most serious the show's ever been. It's fantastic. I'm immersed. After vanquishing a stoner, the Ninjago citizens assume the ninja won and commence the victory screech. Stoner starts cracking up as the Overlord has come through. Everybody scatters, but Darius stands firm and engages in one of the greatest fights in Ninjago history. It was so competitive and definitely not one-sided. It leads to Darius activating a Pokemon-esque tactical retreat. The ninja are still trapped on the former Island of Darkness. Lloyd's Lego leg is absolutely fried, which is kind of funny because once again, their Lego people just put it back in place, dude. We've reached our all is lost moment until Lloyd gives the equivalent of Kai's season 1 speech, and this thing was heat. He said something that stuck with me. Ninja never quit, and I gasped because somebody commented that before I got to this episode. Kai's now so motivated, so rejuvenated. He ready to swim all the way to Ninjago City. Zane decides to carry him there, metaphorically. The Falcon came back, leading him to the Temple of Light. I guess the ninja overlooked 4 slots for them to put their lightsabers in, unveiling a giant mech. Lego the biggest bag chasers in history, and keeping it 100, that thing is crispy. I'm talking deep fried chicken. I'm talking Kentucky fried chicken. I'm talking Raising Cane's with the sauce. Couple that with the Ultra Dragon returning, the ninja have got a way back to Ninjago. After pulling up on the scene, we see that Garmatron is a whole fortress. It's kinda hard. The Overlords transformed into a giant dragon, elite design by the way, and the ninja have relegated themselves to being decoys so that Lloyd can run the fade with the Overlord. As the ninja are drawing the fire of the stoners, Lloyd starts to rush in, gets flanked by Nia. Dude is missing an arm. Always knew Nia was going to make some big time maneuvers, but not to help the enemy. As the ninja press on in a losing effort, if we're being real, they kind of just resign themselves to death. Meanwhile, the elderly are like, yo, if we grab that helmet, we might be able to stop the stoner army. Darius reemerges from his tactical retreat, grabs Garmadon's helmet, stopping all the stoners in their tracks. I've been telling y'all since the season started, this man is the greatest character to ever exist on screen. The top stoner even goes as far as to say, all hail the proud ninja. He knows greatness when he sees it. This gives Lloyd another opportunity to get to the Overlord. Cole gets blasted by some Diddy oil, and before he turns evil, he urges the ninja to go on without him. Same thing happens to Jay. Broke my heart. How are you going to turn the comedic relief evil? This is like Spider-Man putting on the symbiote. As these newfound Diddy disciples chase him down, or walk him down really. They ain't really chase him because, you know what I'm saying? People's tired. Captain Falcon decides to hold him back, running a 2v1 and forever having my respect. Kai has to stop Nia, leaving Lloyd completely alone with a bad leg up against the strongest villain we've ever known. I've got chills because this is what his existence has been leading up to, and I know if anybody else was in this position, the anxiety and unsurety would reach their peak. Yet he's still charging forward, face to face with the Overlord. The Overlord's taunting him. They get into a key blast clash, and right when it looks like Lloyd's about to get pushed off, where evil's about to win, that man turned into a Super Saiyan. I wanna cry. I'm feeling so many emotions right now. My Dragon Ball fans know this dang near a 1-to-1 of Gohan's arc in the Cell Saga. On top of him being a Super Saiyan, he didn't even need the gold mech. That man just summoned Slifer the Sky Dragon. We are witnessing some elite boxing on display. A real battle of light versus darkness. The Overlord swarms him, trying to overtake him in absolute darkness, only for Lloyd to completely overtake him. It went from Overlord to game over real quick, leaving Ninjago in a state of peace and restoring the balance. Lloyd's clearly emotional because he never really got to have a relationship with his dad, and he thinks he's just just murked him. His mom's ready to become butt buddies with Wu. She's not even tripping about the fact she's seemingly become a widow. I say seemingly because Garmadon emerges from some rubble and embraces his family, putting a neater bow on this story. The ninja asks themselves the question, is it over? Leaving the answer open-ended. This was a perfect ending. I believe that the series ended here, Ninjago will be considered a cult classic without question, in the same vein as Symbionic Titan. So let's talk about what I didn't like. I think this season was significantly better than season 1. That season struggled with the way they set up certain situations, the idiocy in the characters, and the lack of character building until the end. However, all of those things still plague this season. People are still acting really stupid for no reason besides Lloyd, and I'd say Zane as well for the most part. I don't think the rest of the cast really got to build upon themselves the way they should have. Everyone just stagnated, which is really unfortunate and uninteresting to watch. But a lot of these issues I have are probably because they thought Ninjago was going to be over this season. The actual final fight was lightweight forgettable. They did better in season 1. In terms of spectacle and action, the things leading up to the Overlord fight were better than the actual fight itself. It barely got given any screen time. There's a reason anime stretch important fights over several episodes. Yes, it looks awesome, but also to maximize the emotional payoff, which you don't get if you got the last fight being a glorified squash match. I'm disappointed that it wasn't Lloyd versus his father in the final fight. I thought they were setting up to it perfectly. The fact that he ended up fighting the Overlord instead of Garmadon himself and having that emotional conflict be the centerpiece of the season was a massive missed opportunity for me. They could have combined the Garmadon being taken over element to the final fight. This is definitely going to sound like hating. What? Lloyd's voice actress, she's not doing it for me. I thought I'd be able to adapt, adjust, and overcome. It's just not happening, especially since they aged up Lloyd. I already know eventually they swap her, but they should have did it right here, because some of these lines I can't take serious.
Ultimate spinjitzu master.
Oh, nigga, you gay!
It worked fine as his childhood voice. A grown adult Lloyd, or whatever age he's supposed to be, just shouldn't sound like that to me. The season posed a question at the end, so I guess I'll do the same. Is this the end of my Ninjago rewatch, or should we keep going?